Today's kind of one of those up and down days. Kind of, I don't know. It's one of those reality bummers. But right at the end of my shift at the gas station, I saw someone I hadn't seen in years. We kind of were couch commandos in our our one friend's apartment for a couple months, like off and on, a few days a week. One of our friends' parents both passed away in like the same 3 months, and a few of us kind of like hung out with him a lot. We kind of drank a lot. This is in 2016, 15. No, wait. Man, it's been a number of years. Anyways, but I saw my buddy today, and he's pushing a shopping cart, right? He's kind of hearing some voices and stuff, living on the street. I'm like, oh man, he's like sort of deteriorated. He wasn't doing super great before, but I stopped drinking a couple years ago because I wanted to. He's part of my motivation. Just as a person, I don't like how I feel when it's just like part of a party scene or whatever. I wanted to be able to do something to help that guy specifically, and to not be like any part of any um, partying or anything, any type of negativity. There'd be anything that he'd be a part of. You know what I mean? Because I don't feel right about it at all. And they say you have to not drink and to be sober for yourself. Well, that's part of myself, is that I don't like being that part of other people's lives. So, seeing him, it's one of those things. I've been not drinking, right, for 26 months. It's not the longest time in the world, but I have a full-time job. I got a little promotion today. I'm going to do an assistant manager training program right after the new year for like 8 weeks. See about being a gas station assistant manager for a while. So I don't know. I get off of graveyard shift, which is nice. I get to be a human as far as my sleep schedule again. Um, Man, it's just like going opposite directions. It's this thing where you just have to release someone to the cosmos to talk about, like, let them. I mean, there's nothing I can do. He's not causing a scene. He's just at his base level of like, oh man, talk about talk about. But for the grace of God, there go I. When I was a little kid at my first birthday party, the first birthday present anybody gave me, my first birthday, was from this guy, Chris, and he was one of my parents' friends who went crazy off into drugs and homeless, pushing a shopping cart. This guy, Chris Barnett. But he gave me this little pig on wheels, and we still have it somewhere. There's this cool little pig. It was like my favorite toy for a lot of years. Um, just stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. There's no real food I can give him. He does what he does. He doesn't eat much. I mean, I think he had a chimichanga. That's about as much as I've ever seen anybody eat. Because he's just like the homeless guys who come in, but I've known him at a different state, a different level of, uh, they say people come back. Um, Seemingly hopeless state of mind, body. Fuck, dude. And it's just one of those things. I mean, I've seen people make crazy, massive changes. They get homeless and they go into like rehab, things like that. But like, being a college grad and just like being a hard drinker and getting DUIs is a whole nother universe from going. I don't know, going homeless like that. People come back all the time. It's just he's just like super befuddled, standing there talking about stuff about hearing voices in his head and how it's these two different families accusing him of these bad things, and like, uh, you know, I say, you mean your family? He goes, no, these families, they're in my head. I'm like, oh god, you know. I don't know. I see a guy now on Facebook who's married now, though. He was a guy I randomly ran into when I was living in Oceanside. He was the quarterback of Cal Lutheran. It's this ironic championship team in like 1973, and he was living in a van in Oceanside. Oh, I don't know what his state was then, but he's married now. He had a lot more to talk about books and things. We were talking about Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Was his favorite book. John Kindred, and his brother had this newspaper called Kindred Spirits. He's married now. I see him on the California Lutheran College alumni thing. So, I mean, that guy was a real strong dude, though. Like a 6'5", like just a hard ass dude. Could have been in the military, played college football, gone off into his whatever party stuff. There's a lot of guys at our AA meetings who they say they were like out there and just like walking around like not knowing anything that was going on. So, I didn't want to ask him too many questions. Or, told him we're just working here. State of California is taking a quarter of my paycheck and I have $20 at the end of the month. I'm like a indentured servant, which is all right though, getting the taxes paid off, but I think he'll probably be all right somehow. I don't know. I don't know what to say. These guys go like decades being like a homeless dude. Sometimes it's crazy seeing someone who I know, like went to high school with. We know the same people. Some of the same people. Just I don't know. I guess I always kind of thought like, oh, you think about it when you're younger, like you'll know someone who goes some type of homeless or crazy or something, but like, I don't know. I just had to take off. Maybe I'm just being too emotional about it, feeling like I can't do anything, So that's that. But yeah, in the other direction, doing gas station supervisor, shift supervisor, shift lead, assistant manager work. I get to do these 8 weeks of 1 week at a time training goals. They teach you a different thing about business each time. It's stuff I've heard about. I've asked my managers all these questions, but I've been the 2 time a week graveyard shift guy. So like the people come in the morning, I'm just like zonked out, and I had to do my performance review, and my manager's like, yeah, you kind of like sit in a chair for a little too long on graveyard. I'm like, okay. I didn't want to say anything much. I was like, oh, don't you think I sit in the chair a little bit less now? Like, I didn't want to. I mean, there's no argument to make. She's already giving me the shot at doing the thing, so and taking me off a graveyard, and I'm working during the daytime. So I just feel like it's a non-issue, but I guess it's not. Like, no, we want to see you working the whole time. But she did bring something up. She goes, you work way faster in bursts, though. And then you stop. And then the other guy gets less done, but he's working the whole time. So that's what you need to do is work the whole time. I'm thinking, like, man, I'm too much of an entrepreneur and a capitalist for this type of stuff. For just, like, working slow just for the purpose of working the whole time rather than working fast and so you can sit. But no, I'm not going to make that argument in a performance review job interview. Because they gave me the job position right after that. But it doesn't start till after the new year. Unless there's some reason why. I don't think there's a reason why, the little jail debacle from when I was in the Marines is going to get in the way. And that's been a while ago. So, I don't know, it's been 12 years now since I got into this situation where I got myself kicked out of the Marine Corps, which is like, stuff comes up every couple days, though, still. People ask, like, because I'll be doing something like, oh, you're in the Marines, da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah, I never lie. I started watching Don Shipley's Buds 131, phony Navy SEAL channel, where he goes and he busts these dudes who are claiming to be Navy SEAls, and I never lie. Sometimes, as I'm talking to someone, I'll say, "Oh, I didn't re-enlist." I only I only was in one enlistment as a reservist, and I keep talk about some stuff, and then I tell them the story about what happened. I say, yeah, I didn't re-enlist because they didn't allow me. They kicked me out at 3 years. I always tell people, I don't always want to talk about it, but it comes up in these funny ways. People just like, if you've ever been in the military and some topic of conversation comes up, it is impossible if you know the exact answer to someone's question to not just say it, not just tell them something about how some type of thing works. So it always comes up. I sometimes can't believe what happened. It was sort of like one of those acts of God in reverse. Um, Not in reverse, like of the devil. I mean, like acts of God, like, oh, it was a miracle that I got out of the Marine Corps because I was planning on spending 20 years in, and I had 4.2 pro cons. I just had gotten my ship date to Quantico. I just had no desire to do anything else for at least 10 years. I wasn't going to do anything until I was like 40 or 45 other than Marine Corps. Even though I signed a reserve contract, my plan was to come back here and spend as much time doing as much work as a Marine Reserve officer here somewhere in San Diego. There's different things you can pick up work to do, types of assignments. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I was going to work through law school maybe as a real estate broker. So I've just been like not skipping along the bottom. I'm not skipping along the bottom with my paralegal project and my software. It's this other thing. It's like there's the whole universe of the law industry, and there's these little finger holds on the bottom. I'm like swinging along on these jungle vines on the bottom, like woo, 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 woo. When you guys see what it is that I'm doing with ApexLawService.com, I mean, I plan on building it up in the next number of years. But basically, people looking at it from the top were like my friends who went to top tier law schools, and they're becoming like partners in law firms and shit. Well, no, they get it. My friends get this stuff, this paralegal subcontracting, but people who are like them who don't know me, they just look at it like, oh, another fucking shitty little paralegal business. Or like, oh, these guys do some weird shit sometimes. They get in legal trouble sometimes. People in my position get in legal trouble in their legal businesses by doing something either illegal or just a violation of the business and professions codes or some type of negligence. That's what I'm really working against. I have my E&O policies, but that's not what you do to protect yourself. You do your work the right way. So I have people ready to do different types of work in general. Hoping next year I can rent a little office right next to the Vista County Courthouse. But the software is coming along nicely. We figured some stuff out. Rosemary and I, the PHP programmer who does mainly PHP programming, and who made the contact form, she sells her contact form and a license to use it to different people all across the internet, and they use it in different ways. So I've been paying her bit by bit to modify different parts of the program to work for what my purpose is, to help people have a neutral software utility for making an expert law system. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy about it. But we're doing this next thing, an automatic PDF selection and completion utility. So right now we're doing the password reset for my current manual document completion utility, where you can upload a PDF and then select what information is entered that has been entered into a contact form is routed into what data fields in the PDF document. So it's an API with this other program called PDF.Ninja. So we're pretty sure that we can use this same API and make it so that you can upload, say, 10 different documents and pre-select what way the data routes into them if they are selected, and then email those to the person who fills out the form or somebody else, or have them emailed to you so you can review them. Let's say if you're a legal document assistant, you can look at them, talk with the client about them, and tell them, okay, there's a few things here that weren't all the way completed, and here's the issues you need to think about. Would you like to talk with one of our attorney clients who we introduce them to people who want to hire them? So you are one of the people who would hire the attorney, and then they will pay us as a subcontractor to finish the work as their paralegal. So we still do the work for you. So that's how docu-completion forms and a business like Apex Law Service work together. So let's say I have my consulting business, consulting.apexlawservice.com. I have one client right now. He's a free client. Guy got really stoked about what I wrote about online. Started talking to him through about, how paralegal subcontracting and marketing works. So he started this little business, and we'll see where he gets with it. I'm doing my thing so I can hopefully subcontract to different people I consult, but he has a business, and then he can have his automatic document selection, completion, conditional logic, contact form going on, and then give that to one of his attorney clients, so that's the intake basically, and that work is then ratified as the paralegal work done for the attorney by the paralegal when the client hires the attorney. Right? Like, simple, right? It really is simple once you hear enough of these little scenarios, because there's only three parties: the client with the legal issue, the attorney who is the client of the law service, and the client with the legal issue is also the client of the law service and the client of the attorney. Right? I said that. So that's it. There's just three contracts right there. I have them all on apexlawservice.com. You can check those out. If you click the Learn More button, and at the top it says Apex's documents. It's not really meant to be a super automatic flow of a funnel right now. It is just like my compendium of information, so I can say, haha, see, look at that. I already wrote about that. I can prove to you that I didn't just come up with this in the middle of this conversation. No, it's there so that I can show people when I am talking with them, how documents I use work, and that give them a copy of it so they can tool them to their needs, and just use it as a sample. So I don't know, pretty bittersweet thing seeing my buddy tonight. I don't know, maybe it's not that bitter, just hurt for a little bit. Now he's one of the guys who might be around our gas station. I might be going to another place though. I might start making some money here after another 6, 8, 10, 12 months with my software, and be able to put a little of that money into marketing for my law service. So that's what I'm doing. I do just kind of like convenience stores. I'd like to buy a 7-Eleven so that I could be like a super slacker cashier, but be the owner. Just like stand around like I own the place. I could even pay a manager to yell at me and be like, "Oh, you just stand around like you own the place?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, so fire me then." In front of customers. That's retarded. That's definitely retarded. So, I don't know. C'est la vie. I feel like I need to keep a bunch of moving truck packing blankets at the gas station for these guys who show up at the gas station. Now tonight, my buddy's one of them outside somewhere. All right, that's it.